Hello, cats and kitties. It's your friendly neighborhood headbanger Terry here, and welcome to another true crime video. I am so sorry this has taken so long to get out. There have been a few little issues in the way. I had an infection, and then I took an antibiotic for it, and that didn't kill it, so I had to take another round of antibiotics, and I had a few bad fibro days. So there were some things that were kind of in the way of me getting this thing done. But here we are, and we are going to talk today about a homicidal clown. No, not that homicidal clown. Not John Wayne Gacy, who killed 33 people. Nope. We're going to talk about another homicidal clown, and this one just killed one person. I say just like that was okay, that it was just one and wasn't 33. No, killing anybody is bad. Bad. Don't kill people. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about a purple cow, for which I have made my nails purple. There you go. See the links that I go to for you. All right. This particular story is going to start out in May of 1990. A woman by the name of Marlene Warren is going to hear a knock at the door, and she's going to answer the door, and there's going to be a clown there. And the clown is holding a bouquet of flowers and some balloons. And depending on which account you read, she either hands the balloons or the bouquet to Marlene, and Marlene says, "Oh, how nice." Then the clown pulls out a gun and shoots her in the face. Marlene would sadly die 2 days later. This is in front of Marlene's 22-year-old son and some of his friends. And after that, the clown goes back to a white Chrysler LeBaron, gets in, and speeds away. And John, the son of Marlene, sort of races after, can't really catch up. He's in a cast too. And the clown gets away. And the clown was thought to be female. So, what is happening here? Well, suspicion first falls upon, hi there, this is my kitty. This is my kitty, Zoe. She just came by to say hi. She's gone now. She's not really into true crime. So, suspicion first falls upon a woman named Sheila Keen. Sheila and Maureen's husband, Michael, had been having an affair. Now, let's talk a little bit about Sheila. Sheila had previously been married to a man named Richard. Richard was a director for the United Klans of America in Florida. The United Klans of America is the sort of fancy name for the KKK. So, yeah. Richard also campaigned for George Wallace, a notorious segregationist and racist, for president while he was in Florida, when Richard was in Florida and part of the KKK. And then Richard also did some time in prison for transporting drugs, again, for the KKK. So Sheila decided that maybe Richard was not the guy for her. This is after they'd had a child together. And by the way, I do not know what happens to this child. It isn't mentioned. This child is not mentioned in any of my sources, And there's my other cat, Casey. I'm not going to edit any of this out. You know me, I've got 5 cats. You're going to get cats. So anyway, I don't know what happens to this child. Basically, it's not mentioned ever again in the rest of the sources that I see. But they did have, Sheila and Richard did have a child together. They married in 1987. By 1990, they were getting a divorce because Richard thought, guess what? Sheila was having an affair with Michael. And he was right. She was having an affair with him. And in fact, in 1990, when she left Richard, Michael paid for Sheila's apartment that she moved into. So Sheila has suspicion put up on her pretty early in the ball game. As a matter of fact, one of the things that made the police suspicious was that when the Chrysler LeBaron was found, and it was found abandoned in Royal West Palm Beach, because this is taking place, and I should have told you this earlier, this is taking place in Wellington. Wellington is to the west of West Palm Beach, and it's about an hour or so north of Miami. So this is a nice part of Florida that this is all taking place in. But the Chrysler LeBaron that the clown sped away in was found abandoned in West Royal Palm Beach, and in it were some fibers, some red-orange fibers, like from a clown's wig. Now, DNA was not what it is now back in 1990, sadly. So they didn't exactly have the means to test DNA attached to the fibers. What they did find, however, was that those fibers matched orange-red fibers that were found in Sheila's apartment. Now, they realized this was all circumstantial, so they had to start looking for more things. They discovered that the flowers and the balloons that the clown carried were bought at a local Publix, a Publix that was right near where Sheila lived, right in her neighborhood. And the cashier who checked Sheila out said, when shown a picture of Sheila, said that she looked like the woman that she had checked out. Now, that's not exactly a positive ID, so the police were hoping for more than that. They were also hoping that the Chrysler LeBaron that was found abandoned had been supplied by Michael and his used car lot. Michael owned a used car lot called Bargain Motors. Yes, that was the name of it. But it did not come from Bargain Motors. The Chrysler LeBaron didn't. It did come from another auto place called Payless. And guess what? Payless had reported that Chrysler LeBaron as stolen. But they didn't charge Michael with the theft because they could not and did not have enough evidence to say that he had been responsible for getting the Chrysler LeBaron. So even though it seems almost impossible that Michael didn't know about all of this, there wasn't enough to charge him. In fact, the police did look into him. They looked into the fact that one of his employees said that Michael was sorry that he had ever married that bitch, meaning Marlene, and that he wished that he could get rid of her. And yeah, that wasn't too good to say. Now you're wondering, if Michael and Marlene weren't happy together, why didn't they just get divorced? And I ask myself this every time I hear that a spouse is killed over an affair with another person. Why don't they just get a divorce? In the case of Marlene and Michael, they had over $1 million in property assets and business assets. And one of the reasons they didn't get divorced is that one did not want the other to get all of the assets, and dividing them up was going to be a huge court battle. So they were kind of slow in getting the divorce. Interestingly, after the incident had happened, after the shooting had happened and police had yet to arrest anybody yet, in 1991, court documents showed that Michael asked his lawyer, Chris DeSantis, whether or not he would be able to inherit everything now that Marlene had died. And the lawyer said, if you are proven to have nothing to do with this with this incident, with this shooting, with this death, then yes, you would get everything. So there's some pretty big stakes there on Michael not being charged. And it might be one of the reasons that Marlene has never said anything. So what other things do they have against Marlene? Well, Marlene had been seen in a clown costume entertaining children at a charity event right before the shooting of Marlene had taken place. So lots of circumstantial evidence, lots of things that were said that Marlene was wanted out of the way. Several witnesses said that the clown was a female. So, again, that points back to Sheila. But they simply did not have enough to charge Sheila or Michael for Marlene's murder. So what happens now? Well, several years go by, and then in 2002, well, first of all, let me say in 1994, Michael had to go to prison for about 3.5 years because he was found guilty of 12 or so counts of fraud because he had been rolling back odometers at his used car place. So yeah, he wound up going to prison for a few years, which is why they didn't get married right away. But eventually, Sheila and Michael did go to Vegas in 2002 and get married. And at that point, Sheila was calling herself Debbie. She had changed her name to Debbie and was going by Debbie Warren. And anyone who met her from that point on knew her as Debbie. Well, where did they go from there? Interestingly enough, and I'm not sure how they picked this particular place or this particular avenue, but they wound up in East Tennessee. They wound up in Sullivan County. Now, if that sounds familiar to you, that is because, oh gosh, let's see. The true crime that I did about the woman who shot her husband but he wasn't dead, that took place in Sullivan County. And the true crime that I did about Lee Beckner, who he and his accomplice murdered 3 people, that took place in Sullivan County. Sullivan County's got a lot going on. But, of course, this time the murder didn't actually take place in Sullivan County. It took place in Wellington, Florida. But for some reason, and I don't have any reason as to why this is true, Michael and Sheila/Debbie moved to East Tennessee and began running a restaurant called the Purple Cow. All right, I have a picture of the restaurant. It's not a very good picture, so I don't know if you're really going to be able to see very much in it. But this is the restaurant, and hopefully you see the Purple Cow right outside the door there. Yes, they did indeed have a statue of a purple cow. It was a sub and burger restaurant on a very busy street in a city in Sullivan County. And they were well known for their subs, for their burgers, and particularly the milkshakes. They had wonderful milkshakes. The reason I know this is because I have been to the Purple Cow. I have eaten from the Purple Cow. Their milkshakes are to die for. But probably a bad turn of phrase in this particular video. Anyway, so they move up here. They take ownership of this restaurant. By all accounts, they were very hardworking. They worked 6 days a week at the restaurant and stayed in this home when they lived in Kingsport. So, not a bad-looking little place. They'd stayed there 6 nights a week, and then on the weekends, they would stay at their home in Abingdon. Abingdon is a town in southwest Virginia, and it is a very historical town. It dates back to the Revolutionary War. The oldest building still standing in the town dates back to the Revolutionary War. It's also a town that has quite a bit of money. It's very quaint. It's very small town USA looking. The buildings hold to historical standards. There is a hotel and spa there called the Martha Washington Inn. A very, very nice place. And wouldn't you know that Sheila/Debbie and Michael lived in a high-dollar neighborhood in that high-dollar town. It was called Heron Point. And here is a picture of their little hovel that they lived in Heron Point. As you can see, it's on the lake. And they actually had it custom built for them. Now, in 2016, Sheila/Debbie, and Michael retired from running the Purple Cow. They sold it. And so in the summer of 2016, they retired to their custom mansion in Abingdon. And by all accounts, were wonderful, fantastic neighbors. They were outgoing. They liked to entertain. They liked to spend their free time working on landscaping on their property. And everyone just really liked them. And so they were living the good life, basically, in their retirement. In 2017, they took a trip to visit family in Vermont. On the way back from their trip to Vermont, when they had entered Washington County, which is the county that Abingdon is located in, they got pulled over by Washington County sheriffs, their sheriff deputies rather. And at that point, Sheila/Debbie was taken into custody and charged with first-degree murder. So how would you like to be coming back from a family trip and pulled over and wham bam, you're arrested? Sheila was supposedly surprised that she was being arrested, and I guess she was, because let's face it, it was 27 years after the murder. But the police said that in 2014, new DNA evidence had come to light that they were unable to process back in 1990, and that evidence, along with some other things that they'd put together, made it so that they felt like they could make a case in 2017. So, Florida police called up to Abingdon, and Abingdon arrested her. And this is a picture of Sheila, and I think this must be her mugshot, but I've never seen anybody look this happy in a mugshot in my life, so maybe it's not. But this is Sheila/Debbie. And I have a feeling this is her mugshot because she's older in this. She would have been about 27 when the crime took place, because when she was arrested in 2017, she was 54. She waived extradition, and so she was sent to Florida. She has been in jail in Florida ever since. Yes, that's right. I know, it's 2022. Her trial has been delayed at least 3 times, and there's been 6 different delays altogether of different types. And she has been in jail the whole time, for which her lawyer has been very upset and has tried to get her out. But I think they probably fear that she is a flight risk because she has family ties in both Tennessee and Vermont. And so I think, and because the couple has money, they have quite a bit of money. It would not be a hardship on her to go on the lam. So they have kept her in jail for this entire time. Presumably the time that she has spent in jail is going to be counted as time served. I don't know. So we haven't had a trial yet, but she has pleaded not guilty to all charges. Her husband, Michael, the last thing that I read said that he was still living in Abingdon and that he's very upset and that he swears he has had nothing to do with anything. Now, they don't have enough, apparently, on Michael to charge him. And apparently, Marlene has gone this whole time without implicating him in any way. Now, we'll see during the trial if anything comes out where she implicates him. And of course, everything that I've said in this video has been alleged. Alleged. Because the trial is not over yet. So, please understand that everything up to this point that I've talked about is alleged according to police reports, court reports, and witness statements. Okie doke? All right, please don't sue me. I have no money. Anyway, so that's where we are right now with Sheila. She's sitting in jail. She allegedly dressed as a clown and shot Michael's former wife in the face. She, at one time, if you're wondering how Sheila and Michael met, which I think I left this part out, they met because Michael hired Sheila and her husband at the time, Richard, that I told you about, as people to repossess cars for his car business, for his car lot. People that didn't pay got their car repossessed, and Richard and Sheila helped to do that. Now, I can see Richard doing that from what I know and have read about him. Sheila must be tough. That's all I'm saying, if she was going out and repoing cars. But that is how Sheila and Michael met. And that is where the affair grew from, is when they had met. And Richard said that Michael and Sheila would go out late and repossess cars together. Okay, I guess that's what we're calling that now. Anyway, so yeah. So that's how they met to begin with. But still married, as far as I know. Couldn't see anything where they weren't married, Michael and Sheila/Debbie. So we're just going to have to wait and see. Now, where are we where the trial's concerned? Well, as I said, it got delayed a second time, but they are hoping to start the trial either in October of this year or very early in January of 2023. And I can kind of see where Sheila is getting, and her counsel, her lawyers are getting annoyed at this point. This lady has been in jail for 5 years. You know, let's do something here. Let's have let's have a trial. Let's fish or cut bait, as the saying goes. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you think, from what you've heard, that Sheila might be guilty. Let me know if you think Michael was involved in the whole thing. I'll let you know what I think. I think there's no way Michael could not know that Sheila was involved, or even, I think he probably even put her up to it, because he thought she would get away with it more easily than he would, because he had been heard saying at his place of business, at the car lot he owned, that he wished he'd never married her. He just wishes she was gone. So I think he put her up to it because he thought that she would get away with it, and I think he knew everything that was going on. I think they just, without Sheila/Debbie's word on it, without her rolling over and implicating him, I don't think they have enough to get him. So I think that's where that stands. But So yeah, this is the tale of the homicidal clown and the purple cow. Believe it or not, the purple cow still does exist under that name. It's obviously not owned by Michael and Sheila slash Debbie anymore. It was sold, and I remember for a while that it was closed, and I didn't know why it was closed until all this came out. And of course, everyone in Sullivan County was shocked that this restaurant that they went to, this very popular restaurant on a very busy street in Sullivan County, was being run by a woman who allegedly had gone and dressed up as a clown and shot somebody in the face. So you can imagine the talk about town when that was found out. But Purple Cow did reopen under new management, as they say, and people are going back there now. And I've heard some people say the food is not as good. I've heard some people say it's fine. I don't know. So there you have it. If you are ever in Sullivan County, you can GPS Purple Cow and go and get something to eat. And know that that was once run by a man and woman who were possibly involved in a murder. There you go. Guys, I hope that you're doing well. I hope that you're safe. I hope that you enjoyed this case with all its twists and turns and name changes and location changes and all of that stuff. I managed to do this without referring to my notes, which I wanted to do. I read over my notes a few times before I did it. But there was a lot of information, and I didn't exactly go in perfect linear order, and so I'm sorry for that, but there you go. Not sure what my next video is going to be. If you have a suggestion, please feel free to put it in the comments of what you'd like the next video to be, and I will do my best to do that for you. One of these days, when I reach 100 subscribers, which reminds me, if you like content that you see here, please subscribe to the channel. Please give the video a like. It really helps me if you subscribe, because once I get to 100 subscribers, I am going to work on buying some more advanced equipment and some editing software so I could actually do picture-in-picture, which I can't do that now. All I can do now is show you pictures, hold up pictures for you. So if you want to help me get to 100 subscribers, please subscribe and please spread the word. And if I get there, then yay, I will have new and better equipment, and I will be very excited about that. You guys stay safe, take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.